It was mentioned by somebody in the chat that Kentucky and Louisville have maintained their series. And as Jason mentions, yes, Kentucky's in the SEC and plays a difficult schedule. However, if you look at Kentucky's schedule from year to year, they schedule Louisville. They've got 4 non-conference games. So that's the first point that I made a few minutes ago. They've got 4 non-conference games to play with. They play Louisville. They don't play anybody else and haven't for years. If you go through Kentucky's schedule year after year after year after year, go backwards, they don't schedule anybody else. They're playing 2 MAC schools and an FCS school besides playing Louisville. So point number 1 would be Oklahoma State, I think, has generally been a little bit better than Louisville. Not by a ton, but they're generally better than Louisville. So Oklahoma, if they keep Bedlam, they're going to have one difficult non-conference game. And I don't think they're going to want to, from a national perspective, based on what the expectations are of them, want to never play another meaningful Power 5 game against a brand opponent. They're not going to want to just play Oklahoma State every year and they don't play anybody else. Iowa does that. Iowa State. They play each other, and since they play each other, they don't want to play anyone else, and they never play a meaningful game against another non-conference Power 5 opponent. And our guy Jayford makes the comment here that keeping Bedlam would help OU in terms of strength of schedule for rankings. Once Oklahoma joins the SEC, they're not going to have any issue with proving themselves for rankings. They could play nobody outside. Look at Michigan this year. They played nobody outside the conference, and nobody batted an eye. Sure, some people made fun of them, like me, for not playing anybody non-conference because they should, but that in no way impacted their credibility. And certainly being in the SEC, Oklahoma's not going to need to go out there and schedule big opponents. I hope they do. We all want to see good games, non-conference, but they don't need it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I think, to your point, Mark, Michigan they got roasted time and time again this year for the bad non-conference games that they had. And I haven't looked at the schedule for 2023, but I think it's similar in 2023 from a non-conference perspective. So yeah, I think it's a balancing act, right? Us as fans, we want to see the best non-conference games as possible as we possibly can, but at the same time, they obviously they want to balance early on. And I'm not saying that this is something that Oklahoma is going to go to and play, just terrible non-conference opponents, moving forward. But I think what will happen early on is, like I said, you'll see, kind of adherence to a certain degree to the SEC non-conference. But I think as time goes on and Oklahoma gets a little bit more acclimated into the SEC, that you'll see some more of those quality non-conference games that we've seen in the past.